They choked away the last 3 matches. They're not even going for a medal. They stink. Hey, Coach.
Hey, welcome back from Seattle, Joe.
Yeah.
How was the Super Bowl parade?
Oh, even better than I expected. I shared the float with Sam Darnold, who was really impressed with my hybrid strategies.
Okay.
And take a look at this baby.
Wow. That's sweet. Is that going with your basketball medals?
I don't think I'm going to take this off for a while. But fellas, it's time to focus up. Playoff basketball starts this week, so we need to be at our best.
Okay.
Playoffs mean pressure, emotions, new teams. Sometimes we cover our teams, sometimes we cover teams we don't see every week. And viewers appreciate one thing above all else. And what is that, boys?
Neutral commentary.
That's right, but neutral does not mean boring. Brian, you're up.
Okay.
Tie game, final minute,
Okay.
big bucket.
Clock winding down. Nice drive to the basket. A strong finish. Now that's a big basket at the right time.
Textbook.
Yes.
Coaches love that. No one knows who you're secretly rooting for.
I've been following along in your playbook, Coach B. Works like a charm.
Okay, Travis, same situation, and you're up.
Time running out. Big situation. Oh, she just took her lunch money, her backpack, and sent her sulking on a long bus ride home.
Travis, what's the first rule?
What? That was a big bucket.
It was, but that's WWE volume in a sectional gym. You need excitement without bias, energy without favoritism.
So he's talking about enthusiasm with equal opportunity.
Okay.
Exactly. Celebrate the moment, not the jersey. Let's try a new scenario. Unknown team hits a clutch deep 3 against our local squad.
I got this. Crucial possession in the game right here. Any points would be huge. Confident shot from beyond the arc, and it goes. Now that's playoff basketball.
Perfect, Brian. Just like the textbook says.
Fine, Coach. Let's try it your way. He pulls up from 3 and delivers from downtown. Now that is a playoff moment.
Better, Travis. You didn't throw gas on a blazing fire this time. Remember, playoffs aren't about us. They're about the kids, the coaches, the fans, regardless of where they're from. Let's jump to the final test, Travis. Show me you can walk the line.
I think I got this now, Coach. You can call me Mr. Neutral from now on.
Great, now here's the scenario. It's Northmore basketball with a trip to the state on the line, playing one of your old rivals from the Ohio Valley. 3 seconds left, down 2, and run the clip.
Golden Knights with a chance to tie or take the lead. They have the ball. There's a kick to the right side, and he hits it! Take that, Ohio Valley! Northmore wins! Northmore's going to state! Golden Knights! Golden Knights!
Some guys just can't handle playoff basketball.
Woo! Woo! Woo!
Oh. Here with Travis Berardi. We're going to talk a little bit about boys brackets, but first, Travis, glad to see you brought your clipboard.
Nobody saw. I wasn't on a game last night. You want to know why? I took a trip out to Milan, Italy. I actually, with this, I got to see the U.S. women's team curling for free. I was on the side. If you didn't mention, you might have seen me every once in a while on NBC. I was on the side of the ice right there with the clipboard, just like this, looking like that.
But I think we might have destroyed the power of the clipboard with that. the OHSA is probably going to put out a segment that don't allow anybody in with a clipboard unless they have a pass.
Good thing I have that prep media pass.
That's right.
By the way, you got a little bit of grass still behind your ear from the halftime. Anyway, joking aside, let's get to our brackets. We're talking about boys brackets here. We have a ton of brackets this year because of the way they have it set up, and we're going to break down some of our teams. Let's start from the bottom and then go to the top and start with a team that, well, we've covered all season long, at least at home. That's the Hillsdale Falcons. They are in Northeast 1, and Ben Ferguson not afraid to go after the number 2 team in the state. That's McDonald. They're at the bottom of the bracket, 2 winnable games. They'll be at home for those 2, and then heading out to the Youngstown area, most likely, if they take care of business, to take on the number 1 seed and McDonald. But the Falcons, they're a complete team this year, Coach.
Well, I think, we've talked a little bit about these brackets beforehand, and the one thing that I believe you've covered Hillsdale a lot.
Yes, I have.
They got four double-digit scores.
Yes.
And they just have a good balance, and maybe most importantly for the tournament, they have a really good point guard in Lowen Ferguson, who's had a really good year. And I think a lot of times when you see teams make that tournament run, is that point guard becomes a key factor in that team's success. So, they just seem to continually get a little bit better every night that we've seen them on the OH report.
Yeah.
It seems like they're playing their best basketball right now.
Yes, they are, and they played one of their best games against Doughton before the RPIs got locked up. They had 3 players in double figures scoring and rebounding, and actually there's a couple other schools there scouting them for the tournament, and they said, we are not going to go after you, so you pick where you want to go. And they're going after, I like that they want to go after the best, because if they win that, they would go up against another one of our area teams in a regional semifinal. So I think Coach Ferguson, they have a good setup for their bracket to maybe make a run to a little bit further than what they did
and
last
tournaments
year.
are a lot about matchups.
Yes, it is.
That's a big key for tournament success.
All right, and talking about that team, that bracket that may face Hillsdale if they were to win a district, that's the Northwest 5 district in Division 7, and that is where we see the Calvert Senecas and the Plymouth Big Red. Now, Plymouth, second half of the season, a little bit on a downtrend after starting off pretty much undefeated in the conference, at least, and only a couple losses, but they've kind of gone downwards. They lost the conference championship in the last few weeks. As a coach, what do you do to kind of right the ship before the tournament? They'll face St. Peter's, but then they'll take on the number 1 seed in Tiffin Calvert, which they have a great coach in Coach Otterbacher, and that's going to be a battle for a district semifinal.
Well, I think one of the things you really take a look at, I mean, the challenge anytime you're in a league, especially when you play a round robin in the league, is that when you play somebody a second time, they're going to make adjustments. So I think if you're Plymouth, you got to really take a look at, what have teams done here in the second half of the year to make us struggle. And then I think the other big part is, when this regular season ends, it all starts over. Everybody's 0-0, and if you can win a couple games, man, it just gets your community going. So I think if you're Coach Bradford, you just got to try to be really positive with your guys and say, hey, we've had a rough stretch here. Everybody has a rough stretch. We need to respond, become the team that we were early in the year.
And the bottom half, Sandusky, St. Mary Central Catholics at 2. Some winnable games there. So that if you make it to the district championship, either Calvert or Plymouth or even St. Peter's and Lucas, who knows, but they'll have a good chance of winning a district championship if they make it to that final.
Well, it's like the big monster's not there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's teams that have played well against and are kind of at their same level that they can make that run.
All right, now let's go to the Central District in D7. Danville, how about the Blue Devils? They made it to a regional championship in football, nearly knocked off Hillsdale, who played for a state championship. And then those football players, what did they do? They just earned the number 2 overall seed. They could have won a KMAC championship if it wasn't for the Fredericktown Freddies, who are still undefeated. But they're a 2 seed. That's one of the feel-good stories, at least in small school basketball. This Danville squad, who they haven't been great in the recent past, but they have a legit shot of winning a district championship. They went right after Shekinah Christian, who they could possibly face in a district semifinal, and then maybe a rematch with Newark Catholic, who Newark Catholic came to Danville early in the season and knocked them off by 1. But this Danville squad, they're a different Danville squad than the teams of past.
Well, usually when you say Danville, the talk of Danville ends in December when they're out of the football playoffs, and give them a lot of credit. They're another team that seems to have gotten better and better as the years has gone on. Interesting thing, though, with Shekinah Christian, though, former player of mine, Keith Lambert, is the head coach there. So
Okay.
he's kind of built a pretty good program out of a really small school.
Yeah.
That you don't have a lot to choose from, but I had somebody see them early in the year and sent me a text and go, hey man, they're a really fun team to watch. So give kudos to him. That should be a good matchup with Danville and Shekinah Christian.
And Shekinah Christian, just like Danville, small port, so it's
Yep.
not like Danville's playing out of their comfort zone either. So I know Jonathan Langdon very pumped to see the Blue Devils have a chance at a long run there. All right, let's move now to Division 6 and take a look at the Northwest 3 bracket. This is where the Colonel Crawford Eagles start their path to possibly get it back to a regional. It's an all-Northern 10 top half of the bracket. They play Bucyrus and then either Mohawk or Winford. So the bottom seeds of that pod that they were in chose to go to Crawford. But, I mean, the way they've been playing, I don't see a reason why we won't see Crawford playing in a district championship. But you see at the bottom half, Patrick Henry. That's an intriguing matchup for a district final.
Well, one of the things, and it comes up, we get to tournament playing a team 3 times.
Yep.
I mean, but Crawford's dominated those teams. It hasn't been that those games have been close. The matchup with Patrick Henry would be interesting because Patrick Henry was in the regional semis last year.
And nearly faced Crawford, but
and got beat by LCC. And Patrick Henry, traditional successful basketball program in Northwest Ohio. So that would be a good matchup to see Crawford versus Patrick Henry.
Yeah, so that could be the first, and then get back to Bowling Green, hopefully for Coach Sheldon in a run where, what a great game last night against Fredericktown where, they took it to overtime, but, the Freddies, they're the real deal as well. We'll get to them here in a moment, but let's go to the Northwest 4 district in Division 6, and that's where the rest of that pod is. You have Seneca East taking on Mansfield Christian, New London Crestview. Those two teams, I believe, split during the regular season. That's got... I don't know who could come out of that bottom half of the bracket to face Van Buren or Columbus Grove, but those two teams, they're going to be tough outs in a district final against anybody that makes it out of the bottom.
I mean, Columbus Grove, again, Putnam County League, great league. They've had a lot of success the last few years, and that's kind of what becomes interesting as you get to these districts now with 7 divisions. Those district finals used to be kind of local teams. Now you're a little bit further away. You've got to do a little bit more scouting, but the matchup in the district final for whoever comes out of that bottom bracket will be a challenge.
For New London and Crestview, though, do you think the parity that was the Firelands Conference with some good teams at the top that got them more battle-tested for a tournament run this year than maybe in the past where you had maybe 1 or 2 teams that were good?
Yeah, I mean, possibly. I mean, that matchup's a good matchup. I mean, I think New London won by double digits the first time they played, and then I think the second time they played, Crestview dominated them. But Crestview's got to play at New London, so that's one of the areas where Crestview struggled maybe a little bit this year is going on the road and playing well on the road. So that's going to be a challenge for Coach Ben McClay and his team.
Now, we have to talk about Seneca East real quick here, too. I mean, we saw them against Crawford, but Crawford steamrolled everybody in Northern 10. But Seneca East is still a really good team, and that's why they earned the number 2 seed in their district.
Well, and you go to Seneca East, we talked about Hillsdale having a really good point guard. Seneca East has a really good point guard that's, had, I think, started since he's a freshman. So again, I think point guard play, overall guard play when you get to the tournament is a key to a team having success.
All right, now to Division 5 and the Northwest 1 bracket where we have one team, and that is the Willard Crimson Flashes. Big win. You were there last night where they were able to hold off Ontario, who's their top seed in their district in D4. But Coach Bedingfield's done a phenomenal job with a young squad to earn a number 3 seed.
Well, I mean, I think if you took a look at Willard's schedule at the beginning of the year, and I think
really
they're what, 17 wins now, I believe. I mean, they've done a phenomenal job, and these, we talked, like Plymouth maybe struggling a little bit the second half of the year. This is a team that's continued to get better, and you got to give them a lot of credit after kind of really being dominated by a very good Margaretta team on Friday night, able to come back on the road and win this game at Ontario. A lot of credit. I think they're going to have a lot of confidence. Play a very good Bellevue team on Friday.
Yeah.
So we talk about being battle tested. Their last 3 games have prepared them for a tournament run.
Well, in their bottom half of their bracket, they're going to be battle tested too. They take on Liberty Benton first at home, and then probably a Genoa team that we saw at the tournament tune-up where they just dominated as well.
Well, in Liberty Benton, another traditional Northwest Ohio basketball power. I think they just beat Patrick Henry on Friday night, 40-39 at Patrick Henry. So their first game in the tournament for Willard is not going to be easy. Good thing is they got it at home, and they play well there.
Yes, they do in the Haas. Let's move to the Central 2 District in Division 5, and we have to talk about the Fredericktown Freddies. Overtime victory over Colonel Crawford, another signature victory for them as they get ready for the tournament. And it's just a shame that Afrocentric and Columbus Academy are the top 2 seeds because they go different sides of districts. If it wasn't for those 2 teams, Fredericktown would be the ends-on favorite to win that district. But they take on a tough Marion Pleasant team that's starting to get hot, and then maybe a third time against Mount Gilead. They play Mount Gilead on the 24th, and then possibly 8 days later face them again. They only beat Mount Gilead by 14 the first time around. So as a coach, as an underdog coach facing a team like that, how much does that benefit you playing only 8 days later to get your scouter at the end of the season?
Well, your scouter's probably not going to change a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you might put in a few new wrinkles, maybe a couple out of bounds plays that they have not seen, but it's going to come down to players making plays and not the plays that you necessarily run. So, but give kudos to Fredericktown. They've had
really
an outstanding season. I mean, when I saw them early in the season against Clearfork, I thought their starting 5 was as good as any starting 5 I saw. They got a player in Gavin Toombs who could kind of go get you a basket when you need. And then we talked about they got 3 really tough guys in Sipes, Reinhardt, and Luckmeyer. The night we saw him, Luckmeyer, I think, had 20-some and like a 6-foot just tough post guy inside. So a lot of kudos to them. And, it would be special if they could wrap up a regular season at 22-0, but I'm sure they have a lot more higher goals than just going 22-0.
Well, if things work out, they will face Afrocentric, who's always a powerhouse. But if there was ever a year for Fredericktown to want to face a team like that, it's this year with what they have in such a high-quality team in the Freddies.
They've proven. They proved it last night. Crawford, really good basketball team. They beat Harvest Prep early in the season. So they've challenged themselves with the non-league schedule with some tough games with preparation. And as we know in the tournament, you don't have to beat them 3 out of 5 or 4 out of 7. You just got to beat them once, and it can happen.
I mean, look, the U.S. beat the Soviets back in 1980. They played one game. It's not even that tough of a game like that. But, hey, the Freddies, they got a shot this year. And if they were to make it a regional, that'd be a special season for them. Let's go to the Northwest 3 District now in Division 4 and talk about an quite interesting bracket here at the bottom where everybody avoided Shelby and Ontario, but you have Clear Fork, the 3 seed, taking on Fostoria, and then Galleon, the 4 seed, hosting Upper Sandusky. And this is it's just where it worked out that we'll talk about the other side of the other bracket shortly, but where you have 4 teams at the middle of the pack in this. One of these teams playing for a district championship.
And that's a difference with going 7 divisions, is that many of, if you take a look at those 2 games in that district, is those would typically be sectional games. But now they get a chance to play, for a district championship. And then really it's kind of a coin flip between all those teams as to who could come out of that.
I mean, Upper Sandusky, they're playing good basketball. They just lost a close one to Ottawa Glandorf. Now Ottawa Glandorf isn't the OG of the past that made it to the state finals, but they are still a good team.
They haven't had Colin White.
No, they haven't had Colin White for
a couple years. But I think it was a 1-point game last night that Upper lost at home. So Coach Winslow does a great job of preparation, but that's going to be an interesting bracket.
And I think we're going to get some really good games in that bottom half bracket too. Winner would probably take on Van Wert, and I mean it's a winnable district too. You never know. Like you said, it takes one game. Any of those teams get out of the bottom, they may see themselves in a regional. All right, now let's move on to our second to final district, the Northwest District, with the Shelby Whippets and the Ontario Warriors. And you and I both kind of foresaw this. If Ontario took that small district with 3 teams, you thought Shelby would jump on them, because you think if Shelby would have had maybe an extra week of preparation, had DeVito back a little bit earlier, they might have gotten that number 1 seed, because now they're starting to play really good basketball. And I wasn't surprised that the number 2 went after the number 1.
Well, Shelby played 5 games in 8 days.
Yes.
They just finished number 3, so I think they play Friday, Saturday, I believe, to have that 5th game in 8 days. And I think one of the things you start to consider now as you start to look at the tournament, if you're a coach, is how much do you have to travel? Mm-hmm. And I think Shelby was comfortable that, hey, 1, I don't think they wanted to really travel. And then number 2, with how they played against Ontario the second time, they were kind of like, hey, let's go into that atmosphere. And I'm sure that Coach Galloway, I mean, we did this probably the second half of my career. We would sit down with our seniors, and not to say that our seniors made the decision about, who they wanted to play, but we would kind of give some scenarios to get the feel of what they wanted to do. And I'm thinking that Shelby said, yeah, let's take that chance and play him again. So
yeah, and
that should be a great game at
Pete Henry
if Shelby wins their first one.
Yeah, and then they'll be at Pete Henry for a district championship, whoever wins that, and going to a regional. So that's going to be a great game if Shelby doesn't slip up in the sectional final. Just another phenomenal atmosphere, and that's the atmosphere of Pete Henry, where we've seen district games play into packed houses, and it should be packed for that. Now to our final district that we're going to see, the Central 2, where the MOAC champs, the River Valley Vikings, are sitting at the bottom of the bracket, the number 2 overall seed. Number 1 seed went to the other Central District, so they are the top seed there, and I don't see why they don't make it to a district championship if they don't mess up themselves. At the top, though, a Johnstown team that they just beat last night, or Worthington Christian, the number 5 seed, but another favorable chance of River Valley going to a regional.
Well, Coach Rodney Brown really challenged his team with his non-league schedule that they played. Yes. They played some outstanding teams, and the last 3 games they play Ontario, scored 65 points in the first half. That was unbelievable.
Crazy.
They beat a solid Bloom Carroll team. I mean, record-wise, I think they were like 11-8, but again, Bloom Carroll, a team that plays a tough schedule. And then last night they just beat Johnstown Monroe. So they're playing well. So the key now is, whatever that formula is, whatever they're eating for breakfast, whatever pregame meal they're doing, don't change it. Keep it going. But they have an outstanding player in Carter Meyer, and then Chase Smith, a guy that can just knock down threes. Team is playing with a lot of confidence, so could be an interesting run again for the River Valley Vikings here in the tournament.
What's more interesting is last year they had to take the regional trip all the way down to OU. Guess where they go this year? They go to Xavier. They have to go to the other end. Come on, OHSA. Why do you keep doing this to these Central District teams?
But that's
taking
what happens.
2-hour trips. But hey, they get to play in a big atmosphere once again down at Xavier.
I haven't looked to see down the road who that would be, but
It'd be the Southeast.
I would assume they would avoid Maysville. Maybe there's some Maysville go to that.
Maysville, I think, they go the other way.
They go the other way.
They
so
still, as the North.
That's a team you'd like to avoid who they had to play at OU. But again, kudos to the Vikings. They won the MOAC, and they're a fun team to watch.
Yes, they are. A lot of fun teams to watch this year. Where again, I think you and I are going to be quite busy throughout.
Yeah.
It actually starts tomorrow. Sectional final girls basketball begins. The tournament path begins tomorrow here on the OH Report. And a special thing this year, the NFHS network we're working with, and we're going to be doing girls and boys regionals. Might not be some teams that we have, but we will be covering regionals on the NFHS network with the OH Report. So we're going to be even busier there. But Joe, I think before we go, I'm going to put you on a spot. Give me 3 teams that you think are going to be into a regional final. Because I know there's a couple teams that have districts that are able to be going to, but 3 teams that are making it to the Elite 8. Give me them.
I would say from teams I've seen, you would definitely pick Colonel Crawford as being one.
Yes.
I think Margaretta's capable of doing that. And then the last team we just talked about, River Valley, I think they're capable of doing that. So
give me the Hillsdale Falcons.
Yeah. So, but you've seen Hillsdale a lot more than I have.
And you know what? I'll even throw it out there too. The Freddies are going to the regional final. I think they can beat Columbus Afrocentric and then
they're capable.
Make it to a final where they probably take on Columbus Academy. So can they beat 2 teams, make it to the Final Four? I don't know, but they have what it takes.
Yeah, as I said, their starting fives is as good as anybody that I've seen so far that we've covered this year. And that win last night's got to give them a lot of confidence. And I mean, you people are going to say, well, they should have lost a game during the year. Well, I'm sure they're not going into these last 2 regular season games going, hey, we need to lose one of these to prepare for the tournament. They're looking to go 22-0 and make it a really special basketball season. So, wishing the Freddies the best of luck.
And wishing all of our teams the best of luck. That'll do it. I got to go sleep since I just got back from Italy with the clipboard.
Yeah, so, I was going to say, don't lose that clipboard because it's powerful.
Yes. Thanks, Coach.
It's now 20 years on the sidelines at Colonel Crawford for head coach David Sheldon, who has enjoyed immense success during his tenure. The longtime Eagles leader is closing in on 370 career wins, recently capturing a 3rd consecutive Northern 10 title, the program's 5th in 7 years. I paid a visit to Coach Sheldon last week to see how my old friend and coaching rival has continued to build a successful program for over 2 decades.
Well, we're here with David Sheldon, the Colonel Crawford Eagles, on this edition of Inside Hoops. And, Coach, last year you go 14-0 in the league. You go 25-2, record-breaking season for the Eagles. This year you're 16-1 and you're perfect 11-0 in the conference. But let's first talk about and you and I have talked off record, but talk about that transition from football season to basketball season. How you went about handling that this year.
Well, first of all, in the fall, our guys are still in here shooting, which is huge. Our football guys, they get in here and get ball in their hands. And then, during our season, we lift to help with the football. And the transition this year was like no other because of the magical run they made to the Final Four. We had to back up 6 games. And it was a happy medium because you couldn't come in and do all the things you would want to do in preseason with fundamentals and beating on them, because they were beat up. They played more games than Ohio State Buckeyes did this year with all the games from regular season to 2 scrimmages and the playoffs. So it was a happy medium. But the good thing with this group was they're juniors and seniors and mature. I didn't have to rely on freshmen and sophomores. And this group they're competitors. It doesn't matter what it is, they love to compete. So I knew they would be ready to go once it tipped. And it's been a ride, not playing that first game December 16th. And now, we're the 2nd week in February and we're finishing up. It's been a quick season. And it's been a really, what we've had to do all year, Joe's been different than any other because of all the games we've been playing in such a short amount of time.
Well, and talk about those adjustments, because I think you said you started the season with 7 games in 17 days, right?
Yes.
So talk a little bit about the adjustments with your practice schedule. How you tried to handle that as far as, hey, how hard are we going to go? How long are we going to go? Talk a little bit about that.
What we've done more than ever, we do a ton of shooting. We plan every practice, Coach Hill and I, and a ton of shooting. And we've done a lot of running with the ball and different drills, but not beating on each other. Mm-hmm. We do all of our offense 5-on-0 at times instead of, because if I put these guys against each other, it's a war. Even in practice, they'll want to beat on each other and win every drill, but I got to be smart that something happens. We need them on Friday nights, Saturday nights, and game night. So that's been the biggest thing. We've done so much 5-on-0, 1-on-0, 2-on-0, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of shooting instead of going 5-on-5. There hasn't been a lot of 5-on-5 in practice. It's and I'm stopping the whistle so nobody's Payne DeGray's not putting Braden Holt through the mat. So we've had to be a lot smarter than ever because of all the games that we've been playing.
Maybe talk though a little bit about maybe just a little bit more specifically at this time of the year. How does your practice schedule change?
Once we get to mid-Jan, we're an hour and a half on the floor. Now, we spend a lot of time in the classroom, even after wins, of things that need to improve from, games and that. So we spend a lot of time with film breakdown. But, a typical practice is we shoot 45 minutes every day to start. And ball handling, fundamental work that we do, guards, post, breakdown. Then, with all the games, we spend 15, 20 minutes on who we're going to play next. Going through what we're going to see. And then the last 15, 20 minutes, then we're going live a little bit. And we do a lot of situation work at the end. Like today, you saw, we do situation. We're up, down, end of game stuff. Because I think our goal as coaches is to put our kids in every situation in practice. So when you get into Friday night, hey, we've already been here. if it's a late game and we're up or we're down, hey, we worked on this on Tuesday. So we do a lot of that, especially towards the end of the season.
Well, I always kind of laugh when I hear somebody say, well, man, coach drew up a great play. I don't think there's many plays like that you suddenly just draw up in a huddle. It's something that you have covered in practice. You started this season. I mean, your expectations had to be high with what you had coming back. How would your coaching staff handle those expectations as you started the season and then even gone through this season?
We've talked about it. Just because of success last year, that doesn't mean anything. You got bullseye on your back right now with Colonel Crawford basketball, and the key is our leadership with Braden and Payne, and we got 4 guys that went through that Final Four experience that played a ton of minutes: John DeGray, Parker Whiteman, and then it was blending in the new guys. So I think these guys expect, with the success, they bring it every night. And, we've had a lot of games that have been, us winning big. But, we've really talked about it doesn't matter what the score is. We want to win every possession. And I think that's been a big thing with this group, the details. It doesn't matter what the score is. It's attention to details. And this group has bought into that. So, with the success, we don't talk about last year. It's about, the next game up. Right now our goal is a conference championship. We've been fortunate to win 4 of the last 5 and 2 in a row. And, this is the last time of the true Northern 10 Conference. I'm disappointed because we're going divisions, and we saw how the divisions worked with the NCC, the SBC. So this is the last time of the true N10 Conference with what's going on with the adjustments next year. So, then after the N10 championship, then we'll move on to that next goal, a sectional, and then so on down the road.
You probably somewhat have already answered this question, but this is kind of the last question: is what's made this team special, or what do you like about this team?
Just the way that they play together. They're so unselfish, and we got so many options. Braden gets double teamed. He's leading the league in assists, double him. He's got 2 shooters shooting over 45-50% from threes, and then you got the DeGray boys inside where they get double teamed. They're great passers to our shooters. There's just so many options, and they've taken what we've seen. We've seen everything from zone to jump to man, and this group just feeds off each other, and they want to win. And it starts with our 2 leaders, with Braden and Payne, 2 of the best basketball players to come out of Colonel Crawford, and playing together on one team, and just the way everybody's accepted roles, and even our new guys, Peyton Baker, Tyler Lash, Walker Kramer, they have bought into what they need to do to be successful for us to be successful. And I think that's the special thing about Colonel Crawford is it's not me. And there's a lot of places right now, Joe, you see around where they just want to win and guys buy into it, and that's been the neat thing.
I think the other thing that's impressive here, David, is guys, they understand they sometimes have to wait their turn. I mean, you got guys that as juniors maybe not play, but you mentioned 2 of them here tonight as well as the Baker kid that had a minimal role at the varsity last year, but he understood that the door's going to be open this year.
And I think that's a big reason of our success. Every year we have juniors playing JVs, just like you did at Ontario. And then they excel their senior year. A lot of those juniors on JVs would be starting at other programs in the area. But it's about being part of something bigger than yourself and being part of successful. And Peyton Baker is a prime example. You see what he's doing for us, shooting over 45% from threes, and he's excelling in his senior year. And he's not trying to do too much. We all talk about Braden and Payne, but those other guys, Parker Whiteman has stepped his game up from last year to this year, and that's the growth that we've
even
seen.
Lately here, Tyler Lash has come in when you mentioned about John DeGray went down. He stepped in and has played well for you. So.
John missed 3 games throughout because of an injury, and those minutes for Tyler are huge. As
huge
we
for
go,
him and huge for you.
Yes, going down the stretch, that's really going to help. It's helped our depth, and that's the neat thing. And I think these guys see what's been before them. I'm an old man being here 20 years, and they've seen the success and the guys that have had the ball buy in them time, and that's what Colonel Crawford basketball is about. And we've been fortunate to have them buy in, and it's harder and harder with the me society we live in, but we still have that old school here at Colonel Crawford.
And you have a lot of guys that come back, and I think probably behind the scenes when you're not even aware of, talking to kids about, hey, what this means. So on behalf of the OH Report, great success so far. I mean,
I know you're not even close to where you want to be, and we wish you the best of luck here as you wrap up the regular season and get into tournament play. Always enjoy talking to you, man.
Thanks, Joby.
Yeah, take care.
Thank you.
David's Eagles took a tough loss in overtime last night at Fredericktown and will wrap up the regular season on Friday when they travel to Seneca East. A win puts Crawford just one shy of 20 for the season, a feat they will likely achieve for the 10th time during Sheldon's tenure. Let's take a quick 30-second timeout for a message from our sponsor, Buckeye Horizon.
When it comes to comfort, every degree matters. At Buckeye Horizon, we proudly install and maintain Trane heating and cooling systems built to last, engineered for performance. And with our expert service, your home stays comfortable year-round. No matter the season, we'll keep your system running at its best. Call Buckeye Horizon at 419-529-2738, your local Trane comfort specialist.
I nominated 9 players for Coach B's Ballers last week, and after a competitive fan vote, here's who you chose as your 6th baller of the season. Congratulations to Cole Perry of the Monroeville Eagles, who put up a double-double with 20 points and 11 rebounds in a win over Seneca East. The 6-foot, 6-inch power forward also blocked a pair of Tiger shots as the senior helped extend the Eagles' win streak to 7 in a row. He is your 6th baller of the season. Now, let's meet this week's nominees for Coach B's Ballers. Our first nominee is Keegan Morris of the Margaretta Polar Bears. Keegan enjoyed a career scoring night as the Polar Bears clinched an outright SBC Bay Division Championship and their win over Willard last Friday night. Keegan scored 21 points, which included 5 threes and had 2 assists. The Polar Bears currently stand at 18-3 on the season and will wrap up regular season play at Old Fort on Friday. Our second nominee is Drew Stanek of the Winford Royals. Drew set a new career high for scoring at the Castle against the Golden Knights of Northmore. Drew scored 35 points on 12 field goals, which included 4 from behind the arc. The Royals wrap up their regular season when they host Mohawk on Friday, and then will match up again with the Warriors in the first round of tournament play on next Friday. Our third nominee is Carter Goon of the Crestview Cougars. Carter doused the Flames of Mansfield Christian on Saturday night as Crestview knocked off the Flames 48-38. Carter had an impressive stat line as he scored 21 points, grabbed 8 rebounds, and blocked 2 shots. The Cougars are currently 10-10 on the season, are at Madison tonight, and then at St. Paul on Saturday. The Cougars begin tournament play at New London on February the 27th. Our fourth nominee is Cale Lewis of the Hillsdale Falcons. Cale broke the school's single-game scoring mark in their 71-58 win over Mansfield St. Peter's on Saturday night. Cale scored 44 points and added 6 rebounds and 2 assists to his stat line. With the win over St. Thomas Aquinas on Monday, the Falcons stand at 14-7 on the season and will host Norwayne on Friday night to wrap up their regular season. Our fifth nominee is Sidney Frank of the Triway Titans. Despite feeling a little under the weather, Sidney was dominant in the Lady Titans' 50-35 win over Mapleton last Thursday night. Sidney scored 20 points, with 15 of those coming in the second half, and she also grabbed 5 rebounds and dished out 3 assists. The Titans finished their regular season at 16-6 and will begin tournament play on Friday when they host Liberty. Our sixth nominee is Chase Hipp of the Western Reserve Rough Riders. Chase's 19 points and 6 rebounds led his team to a 64-56 Firelands Conference win over Crestview at the Cougars' Den on Friday night. Western stands at 10-9 on the season and will travel to Plymouth on Friday to wrap up their regular season. The Rough Riders travel to Genoa on February the 27th to begin tournament play in Division 5. Our 7th nominee is Hunter Caudill of the Buckeye Central Bucks. Hunter scored half of his team's points in the Bucks' 53-38 win over Lucas on Tuesday night at the Cub Cave. Hunter scored 26 points, which included 9 points from the three, and also had 4 steals for his team. The Bucks travel to Cary on Friday to wrap up their regular season, and then they begin tournament play next Thursday when they are on the road at Crestline. Our 8th nominee is Cale Bailey of the Margaretta Polar Bears. Cale went off for a career-high scoring night as he scored 32 points in the Bears' SBC Bay Division title clinching win at Willard last Friday night. Cale also added 5 rebounds and 4 assists to his stat line. The Polar Bears stand as one of the top teams in Division 5 in the Northwest District and will open tournament play on Friday, February 27th, when they host the winner of Oak Harbor and Edison. Our 9th nominee is Braden Holt of the Colonel Crawford Eagles. Braden did all his damage in just 3 quarters in the Eagles' 77-51 win over Cary at the Eagles' Nest last Friday night. Braden scored 32 points, grabbed 5 rebounds, and had 4 assists as the Eagles clinched another N10 league crown. Colonel Crawford stands at 18-2 overall and 13-0 in N10 play as they travel to Seneca East on Friday, and then they begin tournament play in Division 6 when they host Bucyrus on Friday, February the 27th. And our 10th nominee is Carson Reinhardt of the Fredericktown Freddies. Carson came up clutch down the stretch last night in the Freddies' 57-53 win over Colonel Crawford in a matchup of 2 of the best teams in the state. Carson scored 22 points, which included a couple of key and-one finishes at the basket. With the win, the Freddies currently stand at a perfect 20-0 on the season and will try to wrap up a perfect regular season when they host Utica on Friday and then Mount Gilead next Tuesday. Our nominees will be put up for a fan vote in their own video post tomorrow to determine who will be our 7th Baller of the new season. Now I'll send it over to Brian in the butcher shop as he prepares your top cuts.
Appreciate you, Joe, and welcome back inside of the OH Report Butcher Shop, your favorite spot for all the tastiest morsels from the high school hardwood. And sorry, ladies, today is all about the fellas. I've got your 10 best boys basketball plays from this past week on the way. Let's begin our countdown at the Castle, where Northmore's Tanner Miley will pull off the heist and immediately sends the loot down court to Brendan Barber. Smooth catch and finish all in one motion. And a second look at the pass, a full wind up for Tanner, who hits his man in stride to help knock off Winford. Tight game going down in Delaware. Harlow Hafner, he's got the rock, and he will give Buckeye Valley student section something to rock about. Gorgeous reverse layup and knifing between 2 defenders here, showcasing his acrobatic and finishing ability. Margaretta absolutely crushed Willard for the SBC Bay Division crown, and how about this dot you're about to see from Julian Washington off the rebound? Hits Cale Bailey in stride from about 75 feet for the Polar Bear score. Kid had 32 points in the win, catching this rocket shot from Washington for the fast break bucket. More basketball plays that looked something more similar to football. Carter Goon gonna get a clean break off the line of scrimmage, and Drew Spohr delivers a dime to the All-League wideout. He would seal a victory over Mansfield Christian with that hoop. Awesome design and execution in crunch time to lock up the dub. At number 6, it's Marquise Johnson out on the break, and he will soar inside of the Falcons' nest. One-handed flush for the St. Peter's senior, showing off that pogo bounce and authority. Defense on the way from Sunbury, where Westland's drawn up a fast break, but Carson Scholl, well, he brought his eraser. 6 swat, and just watch this Golden Eagle lift off in slow motion, mashing the potatoes off the glass. Closing seconds of the third quarter, Colonel Crawford's got the ball, trying to knock off undefeated Fredericktown, and eventually they're going to find the hands of Peyton Baker in the corner, who launches, and he will hit right in front of the Eagles bench and student section, earning some much-deserved love. And let's see it again. useful shot fake, and the relocation for the senior sniper gives him the lead going into the fourth. I've got another buzzer beater on the way at number 3. Drew Stanek was in an absolute zone for Winford. Here's some visual proof. Nothing but net from just inside of the half-court line. Kid scored 20 of his career-high 35 points in the opening half alone, with this long-distance shot accounting for the final 3. We're going back to Big Walnut for Top Cut 2. Freshman Gabe Stump at the controls. He's going to spin back to his left. Then we'll fake a pass to big brother Eli. Backdoor cut, and he glides for the two-handed flush. Sweet connection for the sibling slam with Eli dropping the hammer and then a little pull-up at the end. But at number 1, it's more from Fredericktown and Colonel Crawford. Eagles with the rock in overtime, but a Freddie Swarm pops it loose. They send ahead to Carson Reinhardt on the leak out, and he gets the bucket plus the foul to seal the game. As Fredericktown will remain undefeated, they get their 20th win of the season, plus your top cut of the week. So there you have it, an all-boys hoops edition here of the top cuts. I really tried to factor in the magnitude of the moment, and that's why I gave the nod to Reinhardt and the Fredericktown Freddies getting that win against Colonel Crawford. But there were some pretty good dunks. I love the big Walnut connection, of course, with the freshman to the junior. But you tell me, what do you think was worthy of being the number 1 play of the week? Hit me up in the comments section below. We've got a quick commercial timeout on the way, but when we come back, Joe is heading down to the valley. He goes around the arena with Brinley Barnett.
When it comes to comfort, every degree matters. At Buckeye Horizon, we proudly install and maintain Trane heating and cooling systems built to last, engineered for performance. And with our expert service, your home stays comfortable year-round. No matter the season, we'll keep your system running at its best. Call Buckeye Horizon at 419-529-2738, your local Trane comfort specialist.
The girls' basketball tournament gets underway this week, and for a second consecutive season, Clear Fork owns the top seed in their Division 5 district. The Lady Colts ended a 36-year district title drought with the championship last year, returning several key contributors to defend their crown next week. Among them is a senior point guard, Brinley Barnett, a two-sport standout who has been contributing at the varsity level since her freshman season. She joined me for a trip around the arena to share her basketball journey and details about her unique personality. Here's Brinley Barnett of the Clear Fork Lady Colts, and we're going to go around the arena, find out a little bit more about you. So your team has had an outstanding season, 18-4 on the season. Probably most importantly, 14-0 in the MOAC, winning a championship for the first time in a long time. You've been a starter in this program for 3 years. What's it meant to be in this program?
I mean, we've been kind of just rebuilding the program a little bit, obviously getting a new coach like 6 years ago. But each year we've gotten better, and just seeing like the change in the culture from like my freshman year to now, it's kind of great, and it's amazing to be a part of.
So you also played soccer, and you've been a part of a really successful soccer program. Maybe talk a little bit about how does soccer kind of help you with basketball?
I think just being a leader, it's always been like my favorite sport, and it's been like my first like love as a sport. And I think like having successful things in that like helps me bring everything here, because I like to win, and I like to do things, like I just like to work really hard. So I think like bringing that aspect of soccer to here, like I just want to continue to work hard and win.
So in the off season, especially like in the summer, there's that time with soccer and basketball. Mm-hmm. How do you balance that time?
Well, June is more of a basketball month. The coaches work really well together to manage all of the sports and stuff. So June is a basketball month, and July is the soccer month. So we kind of just, if there's a conflict in June, you go to basketball, and there's a conflict in July, you go to soccer.
Well, that makes it easy for you when you don't have coaches demanding, pulling you both directions. So usually as I do these interviews, and especially a lot of them are, of course, senior interviews, there's usually been somebody that's kind of been a big influence in your career. Who might that person or persons be for you?
I mean, honestly, probably Coach. I mean, he's the one that in middle school saw something in me, and I didn't really want to play in high school, and he like convinced me to play. And I mean, he's been really hard on me, but he sees a lot of potential in me, and I really respect that, and he's pushed me to be the kind of player I am today.
Is there any athlete, like professional college athlete, that you like to watch or even maybe model your play after?
I like Paige Beckers. She's a really good all-around player, and she's amazing, so
Yep,
can't go wrong with
she's
that.
had a great career.
Yeah.
I mean, you've had a great career also. If you're not playing basketball or playing soccer, is there anything that you enjoy doing during that free time?
I just like hanging out with my friends, and it's easier in the summer to where you can like go out and actually do things like swimming and stuff like that. But in the winter, I'm kind of like a homebody. I like to just hang out with my family and just hang out with my friends.
Basketball-wise, what do you enjoy most about basketball, and maybe even more specifically with this team?
Just the girls are my absolute favorite part. I love every single one of them. They make the hard practices so much better. And we just have such great team chemistry, and I just love being around every single one of them. And that's probably the thing I love most about this sport, is the girls.
You mentioned hard practices. In all these years, you're a senior now. What's the hardest drill or the hardest thing you've had to do in basketball?
Okay, so my sophomore year, he was pretty mad at me at practice. And I had to do the Kobe drill against the whole entire team.
So what's the Kobe drill?
So you have to defend a girl one-on-one from half court to back to the end line, and then you have to sprint back out and repeat it. And so I went against the entire team, and it was terrible. It was awful.
That's all. So that's the hard. That's the one memory is the hardest thing you had to do.
Probably. Yeah.
You had a lot of experience of playing games here. What do you right now at this point? What's the favorite memory of having playing for the Clear Fork Lady Colts?
Probably winning the conference this year, and winning districts last year, or maybe beating Shelby my freshman year. That's probably a big one.
And that Shelby's kind of been the nemesis that you
Yeah.
guys have had to face, and had the chance this year that you beat them twice.
Yeah.
When your career's done, what do you think you're going to miss the most?
These girls, they're my best friends, and I've played with mainly Ashton since I was 5 years old. So it's gonna be really sad not to like play with her ever again, but just mainly all these.
And we're from the OH report. We hope that's for a few more weeks here as you start tournament play on Friday. We wish you guys the best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks for going around the arena with us.
Yes, thank you.
Barnett led the MOAC with better than 6 assists per game, nearly twice as many as anyone else in the league. She will look to follow up the team's first league title season in 22 years with a second consecutive trip to the regionals, beginning with a sectional final home game versus Galleon on Friday. That's it for episode 7. And while I know you'll miss seeing this hunk of basketball greatness in high definition for a few weeks, our final show will be a special state championship edition on March the 18th. Until then, enjoy all the playoff basketball coverage on the OH Report over the next 4 weeks, and we'll catch you again in Dayton next month.